so grateful that you were all so patient. I don't know what happened yesterday. I'm supposed to use the software. Today they just let me go live. So I am here, I am live, and now we're going to do the second in our summer flower series, which is Clover, both red and white. Although you wouldn't really want to do the white unless you can see them and they're really big because, you know, they're tiny. Weird story, this spring when I made my first trip out to forage, there were red clover that, I am not lying, were as big as marshmallows. And I should have picked them then because I've had a really hard time finding them. I actually tried to cultivate some in my garden and they're alive, but I found this summer that things that are growing in the wild don't necessarily want to be cultivated, which is, you know, a note to ourselves. So I'm gonna do a little bit of back play, so if anybody's new to the series, you'll get the hang of what we're doing, and then we're even gonna take a field trip. So, first thing I want to show you, and please be patient with me because you know I'm not the most tech savvy gal, and I don't know how to do Zoom and all of that stuff while going live. So be the normal, patient, wonderful pioneers that you usually are. And I'm going to show you a couple things. We normally know flour as something that we buy in the grocery store. Although I gotta tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I found 0 bags of King Arthur flour on not just our local grocery store shelf, but a lot of them, even in Walmart. It was amazing, the flour that was gone. I even found flours that were like the Bob's Red Mill, I don't know, they have them like every kind of flour you can think of was gone, and some of those are pretty pricey. And for that little like tiny bag. So we know our usual wheat flour, excuse my dirty canister, you can tell how much I bake. Coconut flour is a new one. It's actually pretty tasty, and it's not really that expensive. Semolina flour, which I used to make pasta. Now this is funny, this is empty, but it's my garbanzo bean flour. This makes awesome thin crust, gluten-free pizza crusts. And do you know, let me just backtrack a little bit. So we have wheat flour, rice flour, buckwheat flour, and this one's out here for another little reason. So there's tons of flours that you can buy in the grocery store, but again, if you go to the grocery store and there isn't any flour there, what are you going to do? So one thing I found out when I bought the garbanzo bean flour is that, and this sounds silly, it's made out of garbanzo beans. Chickpeas is another name for them. And then, as usual, I further thought, okay, great, I can go buy the bag of garbanzo beans, which is like $3.50 a bag, for like a 1 pound bag, I think. But I always push it to the next level. Can I grow them? Stay tuned to see that one. So literally, you can just buy the big bag of dried garbanzo beans and grind them into the flour yourself. Now, I had spoken about the fact that they were gluten-free. So I don't really know a whole lot about gluten-free things because I know somebody's going to say something, but I don't believe in gluten problems. And don't get me started, 2 seconds, off my soapbox. People who are gluten allergic, which is really what it is, are that way because of Monsanto. Look it up, find out why people all of a sudden have celiac disease and gluten allergies, and you will learn why Monsanto is to blame. And Roundup. Don't buy Roundup. All right, I'm getting off my soapy street pulpit. So I don't know which ones of the other ones here are gluten-free or not gluten-free. I know this one is, got gluten in it. But I can tell you, when you're foraging for plants to make flour, you're going to be basically finding all the gluten-free plants that you can make flour from. And that is an awesome thing because I tend to think, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but gluten-free things more expensive than unglutenfree things. So anyhow, last time we talked about curly dock. I don't know if anybody's seen the curly dock. It's like in its highlight right now. And it's this plant on the side of the road. Sometimes it's next to buildings. It's pretty much everywhere. And you didn't notice it until maybe now, because now it has this kind of curly, almost like a flame looking plant on the end of it. And it has a cone of these flowers. Oh, can you see? Let me hold them up a little bit. And it's, okay, it looks like this, only bigger. And those things, 9 times out of 10, you really don't have to do a whole lot of processing because they're already dry. These things have a little seed in them, and its seed is full of protein and minerals. Actually, I'm lying, it doesn't actually have as much protein as some of the other ones. You can't see it, but because it's so tiny, your best bet is to just leave it on there. And you can use it just like this. You can just take it off the stick and crumble it up in your hands and use that in baking. It's got a nutty flavor. It is hugely nutritious. It's got more minerals and vitamins in it than some brand that makes vinegar, who now makes a nutritious addition to your food. I actually have a bottle of it in the closet, but it's basically brewer's yeast. It's actually higher in B vitamins than brewer's yeast, and that's amazing. I wonder if my friend, the guy from up the street who drives his dump truck like it's his home vehicle, will come by. He's super loud. Anyways, we actually put it in our smoothies the other day, and I was afraid it might make it too thick, and it didn't, but it's a great energy booster, and oh my god, it's free. You can actually use this 100% of your flour, or you can mix and match. You can use it with your wheat flour, you can use it with any one of your other flours, and if you really are looking for a gluten thing, you know, you can use it with the Clover flour, acorn flour, cattail flour, and all of that stuff. And, you know, it's pretty light and fluffy, so you're going to get a light and fluffy cupcake or muffin out of it. Okay, it looks like this, only there's more of them on it. And it's about yay big. And at that point that it looks like this, you can still use the leaves, which are now thicker and more kale-like. So note to self, you'll have to boil them a little bit more. Treat them just like it's kale. And it's also really good for egg production in chickens. So I used to harvest it, scoosh them down, and put them in a bucket and give them a scoop every week for in the wintertime when they're lower in production. All right, so that's that. If you have any more questions about the curly dog plant and making flour from it, go on to the Facebook page for the Modern Pioneer and Almanac of Natural Living, and put your question in the thing, because somebody else might have the same question, and then I can answer that everybody at the same time. So, other things, oopsie daisy, I know I showed you groundnuts. They're like little potatoes under the ground, and I dried those and I made flour out of it. You know, it's very time consuming, and you don't really get a whole lot, and it's really time consuming getting groundnuts to begin with. So my thing is, there's many plants that do many of the same things. In a pinch, don't go for the one that may also have one that looks identical that's poisonous, and don't go for the one that's going to be really time consuming, because there's always something easier and better. That's not to say that I'm saying everybody should be, you know, always look for the easy way out. That's kind of like our problem. We were told we were toiling, and we've been trying to get away with it forever. This is what the curly dog flour looks like once it's been completely ground. Let's see if I can get myself out of the sun here. There we go. I'll get the hang of this thing. God, my hand looks huge. And I put it through the sifter, you know, Grandma's old dirty sifter, and it makes a really nice flour. So that's the end of that. We have acorn flour. I wish they had smell-o-vision. This stuff smells like gingerbread when you're drying the acorns. I am so excited, not trying to push summer off, but I can't wait for acorn season, because now I know where they are. I'm going to collect every single one of them. So that's great, really high in protein, high in vitamin C and A. And just as an extra special treat, this is a tiny bit. This was about a dozen cattails, and this is the pollen that I got off of them. Super high in protein, but you know, again, it was a big to-do to get the flour. All right, so that's it for the recap. This week we're talking about clover, particularly the red clover. Now I've got some that's dry, but we're going to go outside and we're going to talk about finding them, what to do, and I have a super big surprise for you. Something that I've been saying, you know, a couple things I've been working on, working my butt off on this summer. So don't be dizzy. Take your Dramamine if you need to, or close your eyes until I say open them. This makes you nauseous. So anyhow, I've been working on a couple of really big things that have been in the works for a really long time. And one of my not so big deals is finally finished. So don't be afraid to cut down your clover when you mow, because it'll just pop back up again and it'll actually make more of them. So the other day I'm mowing the front yard and harvesting cattails while I was doing it. All right, so this is where my big cattail thing, clover, and I was harvesting clover, not cattails. This is what a curly dog plant looks like. I think I'm going to turn you guys around so if I can figure out how, yep. Okay, so that way I know what I'm showing you. Hopefully we'll get this all right. Nope, show you what I had wanted to show you. You harvest all your clover, and then what do you do with them? The whole point is to be natural and live more simply. So yeah, you can probably dry them in your oven, and I do. If I use my oven, when it gets shut off, I put them on a cookie sheet and I use the shut off oven until the heat dissipates. But you can do that, or you can, you know, stick them outside if they're not going to blow away. Put them on a cookie. Dizzy. Okay, so hopefully you saw that. If not, I'm going to take pictures anyhow because today's reveal is over. And there we go. So now you've taken your clover out, which P.S. you can make out of a cardboard box painted black, but you do want to poke some holes in it for air ventilation. So now you have it, and it's all dry. What's a girl to do? So you can take them and literally go run them through your hands like that and call it a day. And I suggest that. Or you can, this sucker's actually going back because it's way too small. You can get a grinder. So this one is way too small. I have another one, and if you're just doing it for yourself, you know, maybe one this small would work. But, you know, I'm doing it in production so I can sell the bags of flour, so I need a honking one. It's coming tomorrow. So you just take them, crumble them up, Liesl, no. And I put them through it. Oh, guess what? Remember I was telling you about my buddy with the dump truck? Here he comes. Every single solitary day. He drives that thing like it's his car. Anyhow, so I put it through the grinder, and you know, it got a little more processed, but Liesl, no, not by much. So you can if you want to. The thing with the clover flower is it's really sweet. Excuse me while I go get the dog. Liesl Fawn Von Trapp, you are a pain in the neck. It's going to be a repeat of yesterday. Now you can go drink, get a drink of water and go lay down. Okay, so anybody who's ever read my book, I hope you appreciate the fact that I do these videos the same way I wrote the book and the same way I am, like a goober. That was Liesl, who made it really difficult yesterday when I was trying to do another video. Where was I? Clover is sweet, and when you eat a muffin or a cookie or something that's made with it, you're going to think, oh my gosh, this tastes just like clover honey. And then you will realize that clover honey tastes just like clover. And that's all you have to do. But I'm going to give you some facts about the clover. Yes, it's free. And yes, it's very good for you. It actually has between 15 and 27% of your registered or required daily allowance of protein. And that's pretty high. However, it's a legume, so it comes from the pea and bean family. It's a cousin to buckwheat, not really alfalfa, or what was the other person's, what was buckwheat's sister's name? Cream of wheat? Was that who she was? Anyhow, and so it may not be high in a lot of other things, but it is high in the minerals, not as high as the curly duck, but it's high. It also has isoflavones in it. Now, that's it's like a trickle-down Google thing. Isoflavones are flavonoids. Flavonoids are metabodies, and that's why I stopped researching what was what, in plants. And they have like anti-benefits. They're like antioxidants. They're anti-inflammatories. And so they are very good for your body. But clover, like soy, and some other plants, their isoflavones are phytoestrogens. And you can hear from that name that means that the plant has estrogen in it. And that's all well and good, but if you are, excuse me, young lady, shh, right now. Yes, oh no. If you're a premenopausal woman or postmenopausal woman, you really want to be careful about how much soy you eat. It's good for you, and it will actually help hot flashes, but you don't want to overindulge in it. And if you are already drinking soy milk or eating soy yogurt, combining, a plant with phytoestrogens in it, is probably not a good idea. But everything in moderation, and you can use these. I mean, it's great to bake with, but if you're not a big sweet eater or whatever, if she starts barking, it's like somebody's having a walk. Mommy needs a studio. So you just want to be careful about how much you're having. Mix and match. If you're going to have a muffin made with clover flour, don't have your yogurt or don't drink the soy milk. And be cognizant of how much you're eating. I feel like Dr. Doolittle. This will Fawn Bun Trap. You need to lay down or walk away and ignore me. No bark. Owen, say hello to everyone. Owen's not been feeling well lately. I think he has a thyroid condition. He goes through that next week. So you just have to be careful because a large amount of soy and estrogens can actually cause breast cancer. They've done a lot of studies on it, but for some reason there are no conclusions to the studies. But we all know that soy helps hot flashes. So if you're having hot flashes at the beginning, if you're just starting menopause, then have a muffin every once in a while. But your body does need to lose that estrogen, and you have to eventually, let it lose the estrogen. But if I were you, I would do it in a very slow process, because otherwise, you go do Lally. And as always, I always say, research. Don't just listen to me. Go out and research it yourself. Look at the studies, and make up your own mind on doing that. Because they are, healthy for you. But as with everything, it's moderation. So, that's about it. The neat thing about clover is that it grows back, like I was saying about mowing it. So harvest them, mow it, and then let them grow back again. It's pretty neat that way. And of course, they'll always be there next year. And you can, if you want, just grab them, lay them on, like I put them on a cookie sheet just in the kitchen on the counter, and they just air dry. If you're going to do a whole lot of it so you can have it for the winter, then you might want to either do it every day or use the oven, like I said, after you finish cooking dinner. Just turn the oven off and then stick them in a cookie sheet and dry them out. Pretty easy peasy. I actually did some the other day in my toaster oven. I put it on like low toast, like 1. And by the time it popped up, it was done. I was afraid actually I wasn't going to have enough to show you. So that is that with the clover. It's not quite like the curly dock, and the curly dock from tip to root is useful. It really has like the one use, but it's a good use. And just a little couple of hints. See the little leaves? I don't sit there and pick them off. I figure if the clover is nutritious, the leaves on it aren't going to kill me. So we will conclude today. Holly, I'm sorry you just started watching, but this is going to be a video. It says I can bring you on camera. Would you like to do that, Holly? I wish there was some way of waving at me to let me know. If you have any questions, you can ask. And it would be really nice if you have, either gotten the curly dock or the clover. If somebody would just let us all know on the Modern Pioneer and Almanac of Natural Living's Facebook page if you've done it. And Holly says she wants to be in the video. Okay, so let me see. I guess Facebook is trying to make them like be Zoom. Excuse me. I don't know how to do it, Holly. I thought I'd just click it. I keep pushing it, but it won't. I'll wave to you though. No, let's see if I can do it. Oh. Okay. Maybe Holly's with us. Holly.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry you came in almost at the end of it. We were just finishing up with the whole clover flower. Did you see the beginning of it or the other one?
No, I was out shopping with my sons. I missed it.
Oh, well, they do become videos, which I believe are stored on the Modern Pioneer and Almanac of Natural Living's Facebook page.
Okay.
And if I can figure out how to only have one YouTube account, they will be going there.
Okay.
And they're on there somewhere. I just don't know how to find them myself because I have so many different accounts. But I'm working on it to get it down to one. So, quick recap for Holly. Clover's free. You can use the red clover or the white clover, but typically the white clover is smaller, so you'd be harvesting an awful lot of that. So I thought I was going to have to because I, of course, went to harvest clover and I couldn't find any. So it would have been okay. The thing with clover is that they are full of vitamins and protein, but they're also full of phytoestrogens, which are estrogen. So everything moderation, because you don't want to have too many estrogens. And if you're already drinking soy milk or having soy or on estrogen, you don't want to add to it. But you could use it, in moderation. You don't need it all the time. Use half clover, half wheat, or some other flour. I actually think that clover would pair well with coconut flour because they're both kind of sweet, and absolutely with the curly dock flour. It would actually add a little sweetness because the curly dock is very nutty. So that would be a nice combo. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm mixing. So I use some curly dock and some wheat flour. I use clover and buckwheat to make pancakes. And you can basically, mix and match that way. Did you have any specific questions?
Well, what is curly dock? Can you find it out in the woods? What?
We won't find it in the woods. You probably find it next to a building in the city or in a rough, planty, weedy area. We showed them outside, but I don't really know how much of my outside field trip was able to be seen because I kept trying to reconnect. So it's a plant with green leaves and a stalk, and then it's like a cone of this. It looks just like this thing, but bigger, and it's made up of a bunch of these. It's this color, and each of these things is like a pod, and the seed is in the pod. But there's no way you could ever harvest these seeds. So you can use the whole thing. And obviously, you know, the pod is like fiber. So you get some good fiber using it as well. So I do this. This is how I strip it off, take a little stick out of it, just, you know, strip them off. And then you'll end up with a giant hole of it. So far, what's started, I've got probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 cups of it so far. I had to get a bigger grinder because this is overheating. I did like a cup. I'm telling you, the guy thinks his dump truck. His car up and down the road all day, driving me bonkers. Anyhow, you're only going to get, I counted, it was 7 cups of raw to equal 1 cup of finished flour. So you do it every once in a while, or you get a big grinder. My new big grinder's coming tomorrow, and I should be able to just blob all of this in there. Bing, bang, boom. Bob's your uncle. And hopefully you won't have to sift it. Now I sift it just so I can have a more finished product to show people. But you can eat it like this, and you don't have to put it through the machine and then leave it like that with all the fiber. Or you can sift it. It doesn't really matter, but it's very, very nutritious. And actually, I was saying it has more vitamins than a certain company that makes apple cider vinegar that also makes, they call it a nutritional supplement. It's basically berries. It has higher B vitamins. And you can put it in your smoothie, and it gives you the extra energy, B vites, and for free. That's the neatest part. It's just growing around, and everybody's just driving by. I bet you when you're on the road today, you're going to see it all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. Let me know if you do though, and you too, Kim, if you see it. Let me know that you did, and take a picture of it. So, anything else?
Would you be able to post a couple more pictures later of what it looks like, and then I have a better chance of?
Sure. If you go to the books page, and I think my cover shot is still there, and it's a curly dog.
Okay.
It's like a cover thingy of a curly dog.
Okay.
The rust color, once you see it, you go, oh, that's it. You really can't miss it because there aren't that many really dark plants right now. Everything's pretty green. So this is the one thing that kind of looks like a flame.
Okay.
And you can still use the leaves right now. They're a little tougher because they're older, so they're a little kale. But you can still use them. And that's another thing that you can mow down and it grows back where the leaves will grow back, so you have a constant supply of baby curly dogs. And,
Okay.
but you know, if you can't find it, let me know. I am selling sample bags of it, so I'm hoping that people will taste it and go, "Ooh, this is really yummy," and then go find it. Because the purpose is to follow what I'm teaching is for you guys to go throughout the world and live within a mile of your house.
Yeah.
So,
Good. Thank you.
next week, I think, if I can do it next week, might not be the week after. I think we're going to be focusing on things like sweet potato flour, or maybe we'll do like a couple, and we'll do like the garbanzo beans. Because like I was saying before, at the beginning of the flours we have now, one of them is garbanzo bean, which is gluten free, as is the curly dog, as is the Clover. Natural flours are usually gluten free and free. Garbanzo bean flour is literally made out of garbanzo bean, and you can get them in which I thought was pretty amazing. So you can, there's just so many things out there that you can just do yourself. And yes, it's work, but like I always say to everybody, when Adam bit the apple, God said man will toil. And since then, we've been trying to get away with not toiling. But once you just sort of give it up and go, yeah, we're going to toil, you know, it's not that hard. It's mostly fighting ourselves and fighting a system we can't win. And look forward to it. You know, it's like my happy thing. I can't get the third. Now my happy place is to go out, and I feel really good when I'm a mile from my house on the ground, and I go, there are 7 culinary plants right here. There are 12 medicinal plants right here. You know, and even in the city, center of Fitchburg, we found that number of culinary and medicinal herbs in a vacant lot. Just there for the picking. So I think we're going to conclude for today, but if anybody has any questions, let me know. And please, if everybody can help me by asking your peeps to like the page, I'm trying to get up to 100 likes. I think that's going to really help build the brand, because that's my ultimate goal this summer, is to trademark the marketing there as my brand. So,
Okay.
alrighty, and I'll try to give everybody more notice. I don't know what happened today. I poked go live, and it's like, oh yeah, go ahead, go live. Yesterday, not so much. But
Yeah.
so look for this. I'm gonna make sure that it turns into a video, at least on the page for the book. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Arlene. I know you just started watching, but if you want to message me or get on Facebook on the page for the book, I'll try to give you a recap. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
I love everybody.